Just look at what these students are saying about CELPIP reading. It is difficult, and most of you complain about this module. You are not alone. The reason it's happening is because of parts 3 and 4. However, if you apply these 10 strategies, 5 for each section, you can ensure parts 3 and 4 will be a walk in the park with the right effort. Let's get into the first strategy. Let's look at part 3. Part 3 is where you have paragraphs on the left-hand side and you have questions on the right-hand side. You have to pick which question matches which paragraph. If something does not match, you put E, not discussed. Now, hopefully you know that format. Moving on to strategy number 1. Find the answers in the first few lines of each paragraph. This is wrong. Don't ever do this. This is taught to a lot of people, and a lot of people also assume this is correct. That's not the idea here. We are not looking at the headings of each paragraph and matching those. That is something we do in IELTS. In CELPIP, the answer could be here, could be here, could be here, could be anywhere. All you gotta do is read the entire paragraph. There's a good way to do this though, so it's not intimidating. You want to read all the questions first, look at all the keywords first, then go to paragraph A, read the entire paragraph, come back and match, and do the same with B, come back and match, and so on. Whatever you cannot answer is going to be E, which means not given. That is the right strategy in CELPIP. You really have to read the entirety of the paragraphs. But again, doing that strategy, reading the questions first, helps you understand what you need to look for, and that makes reading better and easier. Now about this strategy, I'm going to come back to what I just said in point number 5 because there's something important I need to mention here. But again, let me emphasize for this point, don't try to get the idea from the first sentences. First sentences are good if it is a heading question, but in CELPIP we don't do heading questions. The second strategy is to look at each of these questions with 2 angles to understand the question better and to find synonyms of the questions in the paragraphs. Here's what I mean. If I look at this question, a challenge connected to unequal access and technological requirements, I'm thinking, okay, it's something to do with something challenging with accessibility and maybe some tech gadgets are needed. Or maybe there's something negative, like the whole plan has a problem with getting to people, accessibility, and also we just don't have the internet access or technology. So what I'm doing is kind of explaining this to myself using my own imagination and examples to fully understand the concept, not the keywords. And we'll talk about that also in the next 3 tips. If I'm understanding the concept, no matter how it's paraphrased here, I will be able to get the answer. Okay, so at least 2 times you want to tell yourself the other meaning of the question, and it is slow at the start. This skill develops more once you keep practicing. Now, you don't have too much time. I would like to have at least 5 versions of this in my head. Then I would really pick apart where it is, but you don't have that time. So give it at least 2 attempts and redo the question. Try to use synonyms in your head to explain the question to yourself. Develops good understanding, but also add another element that'll make you a superhero in reading and getting the answers. And that is number 3, strategy number 3, which is to predict what the answer could possibly be. For example, if I'm looking for a challenge, it could be something negative, something problematic. It would be something that is a hindrance to what we're trying to find. And now I have even better ideas and understanding of what I'm looking for. Once I do this, let's say I'm skimming through the first paragraph. It's talking about something about technology and games and Facebook and all those things. Okay, good. And then here we go. Significant challenges. Now my mind stops, right? And I read this in detail. And if you want to read it, you can. You can pause the video, see if this was actually the answer for number 2. And let me tell you, if you want the answer, it was the answer for number 2. This whole paragraph talks about challenges, and then it's talking about some areas where you will see adoption, but there are concerns about accessibility and digital equity. So you can look at equity, you can see the word unequal, matches. I was even thinking about accessibility when I was predicting and coming up with different versions of this in my head. And that helped me to again spot something like this, and I'll read it and I'll say, this matches. This speeds up the process, but more importantly, it gives you accurate answers. Now, let's talk about the thing I was mentioning earlier, where I was talking about reading all the questions first, then looking at the paragraphs. This will consume more time for you at the start, and it'll be very fast towards the end. Here's what I mean, and this is a strategy number 4. Don't panic if the time is not 50-50%. For example, let's say here you have 10 minutes to do all these questions, 9 questions. So you would want to spend 5 minutes maybe on the first 4 to 5 questions, and then the 5 minutes in the rest of them. That's not how this is going to work. You should be spending more time at the start. So if you realistically just finish 3 questions in the first 5 minutes, and then you have a lot more to finish in the next 5 minutes, meaning your second half is more questions, that's good. It means you're on track. The reason why you have an initial delay is because you're reading all the questions at the start, getting an understanding, paraphrasing them, predicting, and then you go on, read paragraphs. That's why at the start it takes you more time. But don't panic, because as soon as you start answering all these questions, you will have lesser and lesser options to choose from while you're going towards the end. And remember, 1 to 3 choices usually are just E, not given. So if you have 3 questions that are not answered and you have a minute left and you haven't found them, don't think that you need X amount of time. It just means that was not given, you didn't find it, and that will save you time. It's pretty easy to mark EEE in the last minute. So don't worry about the time if it takes you more time at the start. Strategy number 5, and this is our final strategy for part 3. Then we're moving on to part 4, which is the hardest part. Here, you want to understand the difference between good keywords and bad keywords. When teachers teach, and you see a lot of these videos online where keywords are mentioned as hooks, number 1, this was an old strategy. In the old CELPIP, old IELTS formats, you saw a keyword here, you found the keyword here, you matched it. Now, exams are difficult, it's the concept you have to match. Number 2 is if the keywords you're looking at have exact nouns or dates. For example, a question says 1989, it's going to be 1989 somewhere here. It's not going to be 1990 minus 1, right? So you'll find that, and nouns like names, company names, articles, books, they're going to be as is. It's not going to be changed, right? So if there was somewhere it said Facebook, I would find Facebook right away. It's not going to be paraphrased. Those are good keywords. The bad keywords are the ones that can be easily paraphrased. Let me give you some examples here. Let's pick a question here. For example, in this case, with this particular passage, we're looking at question number 5. Really confused a lot of people. It's talking about ethical dilemmas. So I would try to find this word, ethical, right? I find it here, paragraph D. And I would maybe think, or maybe in rush, I would say D is the answer for number 5. But the same concept is not explained here. This one, number 5, was actually not given. Similarly, if I look at number 9, it's talking about evolution. And I'm trying to find words of evolution, and this paragraph right here, C, matches this so well. Talks about revolution, which is similar to evolution, and then talks about the word evolution itself right here. Then talks about something novel in the digital economy. Really, like, this has to be the answer for number 9. But it was not. It was actually paragraph D, where not a single time the word evolution has been mentioned. But the concept was mentioned right here, which makes 9D. And you can again look at this, see if you understand. If you don't, comment down below. I'll explain why 9 is D. And if you did understand, you can still comment below and explain to fellow candidates why it's D. But the idea here is the concept needs to be understood. The words, the keywords can easily be paraphrased, especially something like evolution. Might not be said in the same words, but it will be the same concept. Like something is growing, something is changing, modifying. Don't rely on keywords. Understand the concept. Let's pause for a second. I notice at this point people don't really implement what they have learned. And look, my channel is not based on leading you on, subscribe for part 2, part 3. But the fact is, people don't implement what they have learned. So I'll tell you a free way how you can implement what you have learned today. On the product link in the description, you will see this is the product link for our CELPIP course, which you can purchase. It's guaranteed improvement or your money back. However, within the same page, you will see in the related products 5 free mock tests. You can go ahead and avail those. Use the strategies you have learned today to actually see how they turn out for you. Do they work? Do they change your score drastically? They really should. And once you practice them, you really fix your reading part 3. In the next 48 hours, you will see part 2 of this video with reading part 4 and 5 more strategies. Those are things you really need because part 4 is the hardest part. To be notified for that video, please subscribe. I would also appreciate if you like and share. And then again, use the 5 free mock tests you're going to see in the product link and apply these strategies to those tests. If you're still struggling, consider taking our paid course as well. Until next time, talk to you soon.